This video is going to show how to load a program into the Silkrip ORR computer and then how to run through a set of waypoints for the southbound Nevada Open Road Challenge. So the first thing to do is we bring up the Arduino software, and it comes up with a little box, so you maximize it. And then you go to File and Sketchbook, and we're going to use one of these programs. So normally it would be Bjoern Practice Southbound NORC 70 for 70 miles an hour. But in fact, we're going to use this one, which is 700 miles an hour. It comes up small, so you make it large. And now we're going to connect the cable to the Silkrip ORR box from the computer. So one end of this cable you plug into the USB port. I don't have enough USB ports, so I have an extender here. And the other end you can see is keyed, and we're going to plug that in to there. So when you plug it into the USB port, you can see that the ahead behind time starts counting down, even though the power switch is not on, but the power light is on and it's being powered off the USB port. So now we're going to go up here to this little check mark which says verify. It's right up there in the upper left corner. And it's going to compile the program. And we just make sure that it compiles, that we didn't do anything wrong in changing things. And then we're going to upload, which is this right arrow, and it says upload. It compiles again. Notice that the time is stopped, and now it starts up again. As soon as it's started up again, it means the program has loaded into the box. So now we can turn that off. We can unplug the computer from the Silkrip box. And now we're going to actually run a simulation on Highway 318 southbound. This will use various waypoints, mostly mile markers, the start, a bunch of mile markers, and then the finish. So we turn this box on, and I've got this simulated pulse generator going at 700 miles an hour. So the mileage is going really fast. But what I'm really waiting for is for that green LED power light to start blinking. That means that it's acquired the GPS pulse per second signal, and that says that we'll be able to start. And it usually takes a minute or so for that, depending on the antenna location. I'm also going to run a stopwatch, and at 700 miles an hour, the ideal time for 61.38 miles is 5 minutes, 15.669 seconds. I can adjust the speed by turning the little knob on the function generator, which simulates pulses coming from the wheel sensor. So as I adjust this down a little bit, you can see that the ahead behind starts to drift down a little bit. Okay, now we have the green LED power light blinking at the 1 second rate from the pulse per second signal from the satellite. So we're getting to the start line, and we're going to arm the computer, and when our out time shows on the Silver State clock, we're going to push the red mark push button and start our stopwatch at the same time. It's important that you wait until you see your out time displayed, and within a second or less, you need to push the button. So we're going to do it now. Notice that the red light comes on. We have the stopwatch started. The time ahead behind time went slightly negative. That's because of our reaction time at the start. Now we're going to clear, and the first waypoint is not until Lincoln mile marker 47, which is at 21.965. So we're going a little faster than our target speed, so we're starting to gain back some of that negative time behind. And before we get to LN47, we're going to arm the computer. Once it's armed, be careful not to push the push button until you get to mile marker LN47. That will be at 21.965. And every time we hit the push button, the computer will log certain results, including the mileage, the ahead behind time, and the mileage factor. So we'll show how to read that log out at the end. So we're coming up pretty close to Lincoln 47. So we push the push button, clear, and arm again. The next waypoint is at Lincoln mile marker 42, and that's fairly close. That's at 26.964. And that's in case you're going for the checkpoint challenge. Next waypoint is at LN32, which is at 36.977. So we're a little bit ahead of time, 0.3 of a second ahead. And notice that we cleared and we're armed again for LN32. It's very important when you initially turn power on the unit that the arm clear switch be in the clear position. Okay, so there was LN32. The next one is LN14. And LN14 will be at 54.945 miles. And right now we're half a second ahead. So in 10 miles, we'll get to LN14 at 54.945. And next is LN10 at 58.945. And next is the finish at 61.38, and we're going to stop this and the stopwatch at the same time.
I stop this.
Sure. Okay, so notice that our ahead behind time, we were 0.08 seconds early at the finish. Also notice that because we were going 700 miles an hour, my reaction wasn't very good. I was trying to get 61.38 and got 61.494, so that was well past the finish line, which means that my stopwatch time is going to be a little off. Instead of 5:15.669, it's 5:15.984. But that's understandable just because of the high speed of the simulation. Okay. But the important number here is this 0.08. So we're going to write that down right here. I'm going to say that we were at plus 0.08. We were 800ths early. Now I'm going to show you how to look at the log. You just clear, arm, push the push button. This shows you what was happening at the start. There's that start, and at the start, we were minus 0.19 seconds. That was the delay, our reaction time, from the time that the Silver State clock showed our out time to the time that we pushed the red push button. It backs up to the atomic clock second boundary. This number here is meaningless. That's just the miles that were recorded before the start. So then we clear, arm, hit the push button again. This is waypoint number 0, which is the start, and this 62,880 is the initial mileage factor. Technically, that's how many 100 millionths of a mile per half revolution of the front tire. That's what gets adjusted for tire expansion with heat. Okay, so then you clear, arm, hit it again, and this says that our mileage at the first waypoint, instead of 21.965, was 21.945. And at that point, we were 700ths of a second early. And arm, again, clear arm. This is waypoint number 1. And notice that the computer has changed the mileage factor automatically to 62,937. It's increased it because our mileage at 21.945 was a little bit too low from the measured miles to Lincoln 47 at 21.965. Okay, the next waypoint came up really fast. That was LN 42, and we had 26.945, and we were a quarter of a second early. That was waypoint number 2, and the mileage factor didn't change because that was a very short distance, and the computer's programmed not to try to change the mileage factor on such a short distance. Okay, next we see LN 32. That came up at 36.941, and we were 0.38 seconds early. The mileage factor increased again to 63,088. That was waypoint number 3. Next, we got to LN14. That was 54.952. And we were 29 hundredths of a second ahead. That was waypoint number 4. And the mileage factor decreased a little bit to 63,063. Next came LN10, 58.946, and we were 16 hundredths of a second ahead. That was waypoint number 5, and the mileage factor didn't change. Again, short distance, we want to keep the mileage factor the same to the finish. And sure enough, we were 0.08. I really missed the finish. We were 61.494. That's not too important other than compensating for stopwatch time. And the mileage factor will be the same. That's waypoint number 6. There's 7 waypoints numbered 0 through 6. Okay, so that shows you how to get the log results out. Now, we're going to turn off the computer. And now we need to load the northbound program. So, once again, we get our laptop and we plug this into the box. And when we plug the other end into our USB port on the laptop, the ahead behind starts counting down, even though power's not on. We go to Arduino, and we go to File, Sketchbook, and now we're going to load the practice northbound program, which is here. But before we load this program, we're going to go down here and we're going to put in this error out. What was our error out? Our error outbound was 0.08. So we're going to change this to 0.08. That says volatile float error out equals 0.08 semicolon. And then the comment, which is indicated by these 2 slashes, says change this as at the turnaround to the final outbound ahead behind time. So our final outbound ahead behind time was plus 0.08. Now we're going to just verify this to make sure we didn't make any mistakes when we made that little change. And you see the progress bar here, and then it's done. And now we're going to upload this, and notice that it freezes. And then it starts up again, meaning that it has loaded the program. So I'm going to change this back to 0 so that I don't screw up that program. But that has nothing to do with what is in the box now. Okay. And now we're all set to go northbound. I won't show you the northbound simulation. For one thing, that's at 70 miles an hour, and it would take 52 minutes rather than 5 minutes. The northbound waypoints, from the start, in 15 miles, it's LN 25. At 28.404, it's LN 38, then LN 47, then NY 6, NY 16, and then the finish at 61.19. And that's it.